Winter storm moves east, causing chaos for travelers.
I just want to make it home to my own bed tonight.
We'll share ways you can stay safe on snow-covered roads.
Oh, yeah.
Never use cruise control while driving in the snow.
We'll help you better understand atmospheric rivers.
Some atmospheric rivers can hold enough moisture that they can actually equal the Mississippi River. So it's called a river for a reason.
How drought is impacting Texas farmers.
80-degree days and no moisture inside's really not setting us up for a good spring, you know, with early grass and early pasture.
And we'll check in on the start of this year's ice fishing season.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Matt Ritter. A strong cold front that's sweeping across the country is clashing with unseasonably warm air, and the result is a string of brutal winter storms. Today, those storms are pummeling much of the northeast quadrant of the U.S. Amy Kiley has more.
This is kind of the last hurrah for folks that haven't left already to return home.
Many post-holiday travelers face weather delays and dangers today. Storms spawning along a cold front are affecting tens of millions of people. Much of the Northeast is dealing with severe snow and ice storms.
The ice is our main concern. I know temps are supposed to warm up. Ground temps are still cold.
In the Midwest today, forecasters warn blizzards are the concern. They say snow could meet winds up to 60 miles per hour in some areas. The FAA says Chicago O'Hare Airport had a ground stop yesterday. Oh, shoot! Utilities report more than 100,000 recent power outages in the region. In Iowa,
14 vehicle crash just ahead of my vehicle that's being cleaned up now. Zero visibility.
Some communities, like this one in Illinois, are recovering from tornado damage. Meanwhile, FlightAware reports about 10,000 U.S. flight delays and 800 cancellations yesterday. That follows another rough day for some passengers Saturday.
I just want to make it home to my own bed tonight.
Going with the flow, wherever the wind takes me.
In places across the country, the upside of the winter weather is the joy it's bringing children on holiday breaks.
We're trying to find a good area to do a snowball fight.
And if you have to drive during snowy weather, there are things you can do to help keep yourself safer on the roads. Theron Zahn reports.
Always check the pass conditions before you try to cross the mountains. Slow down and leave extra stopping distance between you and the vehicles ahead. Never use cruise control while driving in the snow. Give snowplows some extra room. It's better to stay behind the plow and get the benefits of the clearer road, even if you have to drive more slowly. Slow down near chain-up areas because people will be out of their cars on the side of the road. Following these tips and planning ahead can make the difference between getting there safely and being that person you've seen stuck on the side of the road.
California has been rocked by severe weather this month, from the flooding in the south to strong winds and snow in the north. All of this brought on by so-called atmospheric rivers. What exactly are atmospheric rivers, and why do they cause such major weather events? They're not just fancy new buzzwords. Meteorologist Marshall McPeak explains.
This is all associated with a lot of moisture that comes from the Pacific. Now, there's warm air out there over the Pacific, relatively speaking, and that can hold more moisture than cold air. So as that comes ashore, some atmospheric rivers can hold enough moisture that they can actually equal the Mississippi River. So it's called a river for a reason. All of that is water vapor, but it's a lot of it. And an atmospheric river can actually end up delivering 30 to 50% of all of the rain that happens on the West Coast, all in one atmospheric event. So what does it do? It comes ashore with all that moisture, and before it can get to the mountains, some of that rain falls out here near the shore, and so that ends up creating some flooding rains for the coast. And then as it climbs up into the mountains, some of that drops as snow. Now that's some good news actually, because that snowpack is what can help feed some of the rivers and streams once it starts to melt off again in the spring. It's less likely to lead to any kind of catastrophes with landslides because it's snow up in the mountains. but it is a lot of rain. They are qualified by category, much like hurricanes, only this is 1 through 5, and it's based on how much rain that it's likely to leave behind. The storms coming ashore, the atmospheric river coming ashore in California this time is likely to be a Category 3 or even Category 4, meaning anywhere between 5 and 15 inches worth of rain can come from this, and some of that is coming across the country and will affect other parts of the U.S. So as we talk about atmospheric rivers over the next few weeks, especially for what's happening on the West Coast, it's a lot of rain and a lot of moisture coming ashore.
First responders are reliving the dangerous challenges they faced during the July floods in central Texas. 10 people died in Travis County. Many more homes were torn apart and vehicles were swept downstream. Austin-based reporter Betty Cross talked to 2 paramedics who were there for the worst of it.
It's what we train for, but it's still scary. You know, we're humans, and it's frightening to be there and be at the mercy of Mother Nature in that way.
EMS Commander Craig Smith and Captain Philip Barkware.
That's the worst I've been in.
Vividly remember putting their own lives in danger as they tirelessly worked to save the lives of others during the July 5th floods in northwest Travis County.
This was the most kind of harrowing situation we've found ourselves in.
This is the first video from Sandy Creek taken after the sun came up on July 5th. But it was hours earlier in the middle of the night when first responders from Austin Travis County EMS put a boat in the rapidly rising floodwaters of Sandy Creek.
It's always at night. I can't see, anything other than what's in front of me, in front of my flashlight. There's never any power. So there's no ambient light. It's cloudy, the moon's not out, and there's water where there's not supposed to be water. And so those factors are always present, and it's the super unknown.
Hundreds of emergency calls were coming in when Captain Barkware spotted a man clinging to a light pole in what normally is a dry creek bed, but was now a raging torrent of water.
So we said, well, we got to get the man on the light pole first. He's our primary responsibility because he's in the most life-threatening imminent danger.
This team helped with 25 rescues and evacuations during the catastrophic flooding.
We weren't thinking about anything else other than get to that person, get them here, get to that person, get them here, stay safe, do the things, communicate. It's terrifying. You don't realize how scared you are until you kind of have a moment to absorb it.
That moment didn't come until 27 days later when the paramedics finally got a day off after traveling 3,800 miles back and forth across central Texas.
In the Texas Panhandle, it's been weeks of hit or miss when it comes to moisture. They've entered a dry spell, which means ag producers are scrambling or leaning into Plan B when it comes to forage for their cattle. Drew Powell has more.
We count on winter moisture, some snowfall to have a good spring grass, especially like early grazing opportunities, and just 80-degree days and no moisture inside. It's really not setting us up for a good spring, with early grass and early pasture.
When there's a deficit in forage options, you can definitely supplement with commodities and other sources of proteins and ingredients that can help your cattle to be better fed.
Experiencing a dry winter is nothing new to the Texas Panhandle or the region, but the concern that everyone who works in the ag industry has is how long will we remain dry for?
I think we've all been through this situation before, fighting through it and using our other resources to benefit where we're lacking in other areas.
This past summer was good to us. I mean, we built up some inventories, but I think you could see that get fed through this winter and this coming year if we don't see some moisture soon.
As each day passes, we get one day closer to when the region will receive moisture. The question becomes how long, as the wait will continue on before we get some snow or rain.
For all the latest weather news and video, be sure to follow us on social media. We also post the latest content from our team of 200 meteorologists across the country. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll head to Wisconsin and check in on this year's ice fishing season. And then we'll head to Utah to explore the newest designated dark sky destination.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the mid-Atlantic region. We've got a strong cold front moving through. That will lead to a few showers and a few areas of snow as we head into the afternoon. That'll be closer to the Great Lakes and into Pennsylvania. But the big change is the temperatures. We'll have a huge blast of cold air with the front. We'll rise to the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And then overnight, get ready for cold temperatures below freezing across the region.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. We are expecting a chilly day in the northwestern part of the southeast. Temperatures only getting into the 30s and 40s, but south of the front will be in the 60s, 70s, and even low 80s. Some isolated showers associated with that front continue to progress to the south and east, bringing with it some cloud cover as well. By Tuesday in the early hours of the morning, that front will have cleared out to our south. A little bit of cloud cover leaves in the Florida Peninsula.
I'm Eric Estreva, Chief Meteorologist for Mid-Michigan Now in Flint, Michigan, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
And the House of Representatives has passed the Pet and Livestock Protection Act. The legislation looks to remove federal protections for gray wolves. The question of whether the wolves still need these protections has been debated by lawmakers for years. Vincent Rapena has more.
On December 18th, the U.S. House of Representatives approved the most recent attempts at removing gray wolves from the Endangered Species Act. District 3 Congressman Doug LaMalfa applauds the action, emphasizing proper wolf management is needed in Northern California for public safety.
There's wolves that are encroaching on elementary schools in Siskiyou County, the Little Shasta Elementary School. This isn't some Little Red Riding Hood story. This isn't some made-up deal. It's very real, and they're coming closer and closer to town all over the northeast part of California.
LaMalfa says the wolf populations are at a level where it's time to delist the species, adding that was always the original purpose of the Endangered Species Act. Advocates for wolves say the removal of the federal protections will open the door for over-elimination of the gray wolf species, and that this has already been seen in other areas.
In those areas, immediately states have instituted very aggressive wolf hunting and trapping seasons designed to bring their wolf numbers down to bare bones numbers all over again. So we know how essential these protections are.
As of December 1st, 184 livestock deaths in California are probable or confirmed to be wolf-caused, according to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Livestock and cattle ranchers are utilizing various strategies to deter wolf interactions. However, in a case like the Bayamseo wolf pack in the eastern Sierra and southern Plumas counties, the non-lethal measures were not effective enough at preventing livestock deaths and resulted in the lethal removal of the pack.
But that was a circumstance that was pretty much worst case scenario for cattle ranchers in the state, losing dozens and dozens of cattle putting in all the time, energy, and money they could afford, and ultimately, not succeeding at preventing those losses.
Wilbur says even if the legislation eventually is signed into law, the effects would be minimal because California has its own set of protections for gray wolves that would need to be addressed.
In Wisconsin, people are venturing out onto frozen water bodies like Lake Winnebago. It's the state's biggest inland lake, and many are testing their luck above and below the surface. Eric Peterson reports.
With about 7 inches of ice below his boots, Tim Havenga says at about 4 feet deep, Lake Winnebago's Asylum Bay is a good place to fish.
This is a great area for first ice. It's shallow, don't have nothing to worry about if you do fall in, per se. But it's fun.
On the big part of the 132,000-acre lake, experts say there are about 8 to 10 inches of ice.
It's very early for the good amount of ice that we've got. I haven't seen it this good in a long time, being this early in the year. So, yeah, it's a good start.
Fishtails, bait, tackle, and coffee owner Corey Van Vonderen says the early season is good for business.
We've been extremely busy for being this early. Like I say, normally we've got, right after Christmas, normally you can start getting on the bays. Yeah. So I'd say we're a month early.
Van Vonderen says in Oshkosh, Lake Winnebago is generally snow-free.
When we get early ice like that, snow on top of it's the worst thing that could happen. Okay. So the fact that it warmed up and the snow melted back off, we're in really good shape again.
Back at Asylum Bay, Tim Havenga caught one hybrid bluegill.
I don't see them very often that size. That's a big one. Not enough for a meal, and my wife loves perch and bluegills, so I'm kind of doing it for her more than for myself, which is not a complaint.
Snow Canyon State Park in southern Utah is the newest designated dark sky destination. It joins several others in the state as a location great for nighttime sky viewing. Samantha Hoffman went to Snow Canyon to learn more about the designation and what it means for the park.
While Snow Canyon is beautiful in the day, visitors are thrilled to see the sun go down.
As cities start creeping in with lights and everything, so just being able to have those opportunities to get out and explore and enjoy the night sky would be awesome.
Being able to see the night sky and look at the stars, look up for once instead of just looking down and around is great for health and well-being.
Park naturalist Cheyenne Winchester said they've been working on the dark sky designation for 5 years. So how will this designation impact the future of the park?
Yeah, so this designation will really say, hey, we are protecting everything here in Snow Canyon State Park.
To become certified, the park added shields on artificial light and scheduled monthly nighttime programming.
Usually it's a star party. Right now we're calling it Under the Milky Way.
There's also educational hikes on nocturnal wildlife and light pollution. Winchester says the park sits in the Red Cliffs Desert Reserve and helps protect 16 species of bats and animals that can't come out during the summer heat.
Keeping it dark will allow the animals to come out and be able to feed and hunt.
Winchester said the designation may also attract more visitors. Will that benefit some of the resources available for the park?
Yes, of course. So Utah State Parks run on entry fees, and so if we can, promote this dark sky as a resource, people will come in, we'll be able to collect those fees and be able to improve the park ultimately.
She said the funds go towards staffing, trail maintenance, and expansion projects.
We're working on an interpretive trail off of the existing Gila Trail, where it's going to be a scale of the solar system, as well as leading to a new stargazing location.
For park visitors, they are excited for more programs.
I would certainly be interested, and I would tell friends and family to participate.
So being able to educate folks on what the dark sky is and everything that comes with it, I think is awesome. The more we know, the more we can enjoy those things.
The park is open until 10 p.m. or overnight for campers. Winchester recommends you bring a red flashlight or go during a full moon, as it takes about 30 minutes for your eyes to adjust.
Now, no surprise, on December 29th, it's officially winter. But it might be surprising that we're starting to get more daylight, even if you don't notice it right away. Cedar Rapids meteorologist David Holtman explains why.
We lost 6 hours and 7 minutes of daylight from June up until Sunday. The reason we lost so much daylight is due to the way the Earth is tilted compared to the sun. As the Earth rotated, the northern hemisphere, where we live, started to tilt more away from the sun as the southern hemisphere started to face more towards the sun. This is why our sun has set as early as 4:40 and has risen as late as 7:30. But now, all of that changes as the Earth starts to tilt the northern hemisphere to face towards the sun once again. The time gained is not equally added. Over the next month, you'll see only a 5-minute change to the sunrise, while the evenings will get an extra 20 minutes of daylight. Why is this? It all boils down to how our clocks are mismatched with our Earth's rotation around the sun. If you look up at the sun, you'll notice that solar noon, when the sun is highest in the sky, usually doesn't match when your phone says noon. This is because the Earth's rotation around the sun is not a perfect circle, but rather a more oval shape. This means during the winter, when we're on the shorter side of the oval, solar noon happens a little later, and therefore the sunsets happen later. The final time that our clocks matched up with the sun was December 11th and won't match up again until the spring.
Time now for a short break, but first, we're going to take in some sunrise views over the city of Baltimore in Maryland.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. We have snow showers drifting their way down across the Great Lakes for the day today. Much colder as that cold air blasts in. It was so warm the last few days. For tomorrow, got a few light snow showers again closer to the Great Lakes. And by the time that we get to your Wednesday, you guessed it, more light snow showers. And again, these will generally be closer to the Great Lakes than the rest of the Midwest for Wednesday as well.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at your forecast across the region. Cold front blew through yesterday and overnight, and that made it a lot chillier across the region. We'll have a pretty cold day, 30s to 50s across the region. We will be tracking some light snow, though, across portions of far western Texas later on this evening. As we head into your Tuesday, we'll start in the 20s to 40s. The afternoon still cool, mainly in the 50s.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. High pressure is in control. That's going to give mostly dry conditions all across the west coast, other than a stray shower as well as some snow that is expected towards the southern Sacramento mountains. Daytime highs will be nice in the 70s towards LA and in San Diego. We've got chilly temperatures from Spokane through Missoula, where daytime highs only warming up to 32 degrees this afternoon. We've got 40s in Albuquerque and Denver.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, the Christmas holiday is over, but most people keep their tree through the new year. This is when trees can present their greatest fire risk. Meteorologist Lindsay Storrs has some tips to keep your tree from turning into a fire hazard.
Nothing lights up a room quite like a Christmas tree, but if a Christmas tree isn't properly cared for, it can become dangerous. Did you know that half of the house fires in the U.S. occur between December 22nd and January 5th? Here's some tips that can keep your Christmas tree from turning into a fire hazard. If you get a live Christmas tree, check it for freshness before you buy it. You never want to buy a tree that's already dry. Once you get it home, you'll want to cut 1 to 2 inches off the bottom to help it absorb water better. You'll want to water the tree daily and get rid of the tree as soon as it gets dry. Regardless as to whether you have a live tree or an artificial one, you'll want to make sure your tree is at least 3 feet away from any heat source. Throw away any lights that have worn or broken cords or loose connectors. Never connect more than 3 strands of incandescent lights together, and turn off the tree lights when you're leaving home or going to sleep. Hopefully those tips will keep your holidays a little safer.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Matt Ritter. Make it a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for the National Weather Desk.